I call Joanne Hayes.
Oh, thank you, Mr Speaker. I stand to support the Wellington Town Belt Bill, sponsored by the member Grant Robertson, and I say congratulations to you, Grant, for having it come through after such a long time there in the Bill's office. Tumu pāria, rākau pāria, whānui te ara ia tāne. Ward off post and weapon so that the expansive path of mankind is opened up. Mr Speaker, this is the whakataukia uttered by te wharepaure, te kakapi o te rangi during the arrival of the colonial ships within the Wellington harbour and upon the foreshores of Petone in the 1830s. These words he uttered showed foresight on the part of his whānau, his hapu and his iwi, which signalled that the world that they were currently living in was going to change, and it was going to change forever. However, I'm sure back then the process for acquiring lands for the town belt from the Crown left a lot of unanswered questions. And I'm sure that the iwi of Tiatiawa, Ngāti Ruanui, Taranaki, Ngāti Tama together with Taranaki Whānui ki te upoko o te ika, and Ngāti Toa were a little bit shocked to find out that this was all happening to their lands. But as time's gone by, things have changed. Yet nonetheless, Mr Speaker, the land acquisition went ahead, and the New Zealand Land Company's initial settlement plan provided 1,562 acres for public reserves for the original town belt around the Port Nicholson area, or Wellington City as it stands today. On the 16th of October, Mr Speaker, 1841, the Governor of New Zealand notified that the reserves provided in the company's plans were reserved by the Crown for public purposes without consulting at the time or compensating iwi. On June the 3rd, 1861, the Crown conveyed to the Superintendent of the Wellington Province in trust the lands for purposes of public utility to the town and its residents. The Wellington Reserves Act 1871 instructed the Superintendent to convey parts of the town belt to the Mayor and Councillors of the Wellington City, which he did. And then in 1873, Mr Speaker, the Superintendent implemented the town belt deed, which conveyed 3 parcels of land, which have been discussed in the House so far, on trust to the Council's predecessor, which included town belt, canal reserve and basin reserve. As I said at the start of my speech, Mr Speaker, iwi had not been consulted, let alone compensated for the actions at the time the Crown took. So they carried grievances on these actions for a very long time. And it wasn't till August of 2008 that these grievances had been heard and the claims had come through this House for the settlement for Taranaki Whānui ki te upoko o te ika, and then in December 2012 for Ngāti Toa Rangatira. Mr Speaker, in closing, there's been some uncertainty about the legal status of the Wellington Town Belt, the extent to which the Wellington Town Belt is protected for future generations and council powers to protect, manage and enhance the town belt. But what this Act does, and it does give that certainty, it now brings it all together for the Council for the People of Wellington by becoming a principal source of the Council's power for protecting, managing and enhancing the Wellington Town Belt, by providing transparent statutory basis for the Council's trusteeship and management of the town belt, and most importantly by providing a mechanism for land to become part of the town belt. Again, Mr Speaker, I say congratulations to Grant Robertson. I look forward for this bill to come through to the Local Government Select Committee. I commend it to the House.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.